So let me ask you a question, real talk. Are you afraid of failing and then having to start over? And is that why you're not taking as many risks? Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Catherine Simone, and today we're going to be talking about the fear of failure and having to start over. But before we get into that, please make sure to go down and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you are new to my channel. And then also hit that like button and share this video with anybody who might need this information. So I remember the first time I got that itch. You know the one I'm talking about. The one where you know you're just sick of being in this same job or town or relationship. The one where you're just ready to move on to something new and exciting. Now, if you've been following my channel for the last 3 weeks, I have been talking about my journey from Detroit out here to Vegas. And I talked about all the things I hit on the way to this point that I'm at now. And the last thing I want to talk about in this series is that fear of starting over, that fear of failure. And it starts off with this. When I first got out here, I was determined to make this work. Again, like I said in the first video, or actually the second video, I got out here and I started looking for jobs that matched my experience and my qualifications. I was not living in my purpose. I wasn't trying to live in my purpose. I was trying to find a quick fix. And on the road of that, which leads me to my third video, is where I started to feel stress and anxiety, where I started to feel lost, depressed, and just like out of my element. So how I got to this fourth video, or to where I am now, where I was dealing with that fear of failure and starting over, is what led me into actually making videos and recording content. So here's the thing. We all struggle with starting over, especially since change can be so unpredictable. And it's easier to keep doing the exact same thing you've been doing, forever. But what I've learned over my time, especially since I've been out here, is when you refuse to change or to fail, you risk losing anyway because you're refusing to try something new, something unpredictable. So at the end of the day, you're just going to continue to go around on the same cycle that you've been on, and you're not going to see any progress. And that's where I found myself stuck. I wasn't seeing progress, and the reason being is because I was doing the exact same thing in Vegas that I was doing in Detroit, and there's no progress in that. So I had to change my beliefs, my thoughts, and my way of doing things so that I can propel to a different level of understanding and follow into my purpose. I also had to learn that failing is a big part of life. Okay, let me give you this analogy. Remember the first time you learned how to ride a bike? Remember how many times you fell off of that bike before you kind of got it together and was able to figure out how to do it? Think about it this way. Every time you fell off that bike, there was something that you did previous that you didn't do the second time so that you didn't fall at least the same way. I know that might sound confusing, but just think about your bike experience. If you got on and you tried to jump on the bike and it tipped over, then you didn't do that the second time. If you put both feet on the pedal at the same time before you started pedaling and it fell over, then you didn't do that. You put one foot on at a time, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to starting over, it's important that you think of it as not starting from the bottom, but starting from the side, if that makes sense. Basically what you're doing is you're taking the things that you've learned from the initial start and you're applying it to this new jump. So that goes with career, that goes with relationships, that goes with anything. If you're in a relationship and the relationship is toxic, remember all the signs that were there that you didn't necessarily pay attention to at the beginning of that other relationship. And then when you get into the new relationship, pay attention. And if you see the same signs in the new person that you saw in the previous person, then you know that it's time to walk away. So then that way you're not spending too much time on this new person and wasting it with a relationship that's not going to work. That's what I mean by starting over. And that's the problem with people who have a fear of failing and then a fear of starting over. It's because you think that you have to start from the bottom, but you're not starting from the bottom. You're starting with the knowledge that you've already gained from a previous experience, and you're finding growth within that knowledge and that experience to the next thing. So when I was learning how to accept my purpose and to start over and to not be afraid of fear, there were a couple things that really stuck out to me that I'm going to list here that really helped me. One thing was not thinking about it as starting over. So instead of thinking that I'm starting from the bottom, I decided to think of it as I got this experience here to be able to use over here in this whole new experience. I didn't lose anything by moving my career from this place to that place. What I did instead was gain all the knowledge that I previously got and use it somewhere else. Another thing that I did was weigh all my options. And this is what I mean by that. So when you get into a point where you're afraid to start over, a lot of the reason why is because you feel comfortable in, doing the same things that you're used to doing, and that's fine. But I suggest that you weigh your options, because you can either stay in that situation where everything is comfortable but you can't find joy and happiness, or you can take the risk of something amazing happening or something bad happening. To be honest, there's a 50-50 chance of both. But that's the point that we have to get to understanding. There's a 50-50 chance for both. Everything can go great or everything can go bad, but you won't know until you try. And honestly, even if it goes bad, that doesn't mean you failed or that you have to start from the bottom. Like I mentioned before, it means that you have to take a different direction to make it go great. But either way, it has an opportunity to work out if you take the risk. Staying stagnant and in that content place is only going to be you sitting there. You're not going to grow. You're not going to continue to excel or achieve because your energy isn't the same. You don't feel like you have to do anything different. You just kind of zombie through life. I remember reading a quote that said, the best place or the worst place to find dreams are in a graveyard. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But basically it was saying that so many people die with all their dreams in tow and they never explore their options because they'd rather sit in this comfortable place than take the risk. The third thing I had to realize was failure is a part of success. You cannot succeed unless you fail. I know that sounds like a double negative, but it's true. Even if when you make the risk or take the chance to go on to the next thing and you do great for that right away, you still technically failed in your first attempt, which made you switch gears in the first place. You cannot succeed unless you fail at some point in time. You have to be able to learn from what didn't work to make something work. So I had to learn how to take that in. I had to learn how to process that so that I could do the things that I wanted to do and be happy in life. And it was hard. It's gonna be hard because there's no easy way to take a risk. There isn't. There's no easy way to change. Life is very difficult and you have to roll with the punches. But if you take that risk and you pull yourself out of your comfort zone, you will find a reward that defines all reality. Like it's great. And even if the first initial risk you take isn't it, the next one might be, or the next one. But you can't stop trying. You can't give up. You have to keep going in some way, shape, or form. That is all I wanted to talk about. This is the end of that series. So that's pretty much how I got here in Vegas. I also posted something similar to this on my Instagram TV about focusing on the details, and the Michael Todd video that helped me come to that realization. It all kind of ties in. So thank you so much for staying for this series. I will go into other things and talk about other things, but I really wanted to get this out there because it was a freeing exercise for me to let go of that fear and that anxiety and to talk about how I got here. Next couple videos are not going to be focused around me. They're going to be focused around you. So I would love it if you could leave me a comment and tell me what you want to talk about. And I will see you guys next Friday. Bye.